It took over in sales, it took over in profitability, it took over in everything. We stay loyal to our values, but we changed the way we get that to the consumer. Their passion is great, but that's not going to sell. So let's do the hard work to sell and use that passion to drive the sales. 7 years on premenopause and it doesn't go away and I hate it.
In this episode, I talked to the amazing Ella Rauen-Prestes, founder of Fitbakes. What I love about this conversation is Ella's absolute clarity on what matters. She's built Fitbakes over the last 7 years, but only recently has the business actually become profitable. She's made some deliberate choices rather than chasing growth at all costs. She also talks about how her and her husband run the business together with minimum friction and the numbers guiding her decision to exit. If you want to make sure you hear about new episodes and get my tips and articles for a more profitable business, sign up at www.virology.co.uk/sign up. Now, on with the interview. Ella, welcome. Thank you for coming and joining the Friday Accelerator podcast. For the very few people who haven't heard about Fitbakes, what's the pitch?
Well, thank you for having me. We've known each other for a long time now. So the elevator pitch for Fitbakes is we make great tasting low carb, high protein bakes with real ingredients.
And when you say bakes, what do you call a bake?
We started by making cakes. We then went into bars. Then we went into bread. Bread took over because it's a staple food. It took over in sales. It took over in profitability. It took over in everything. So we're about to say we are now a bread business. Like I didn't think I was going to get here like this, but follow the market and follow the money. So here we are.
It's really interesting how businesses metamorphosize from what you think they should be to what they are. And if you can do that and go with the market, that's good rather than...
Absolutely. Our essence was always to be low carb, high protein and real ingredients. And we've done it like constantly. We just changed a little bit. We are a bakery. So a bakery is a bakery. You can bake anything. But we stay loyal to our values, but we changed the way we get that to the consumer.
I know the background, but for the audience, tell us, how did you get to start Fitbakes? What's that journey?
I worked 20 odd years in big corporate companies. I've always baked on the side. That was my hobby. And I'm originally from Brazil. And in Brazil, we try to make every food a bit healthier if possible. So we know how to use natural sweeteners. We know how to use more fiber, more protein, and less fat or less bad fat, and more good fat and less carbs in bakes, in anything, basically. So I started making it for myself, and then a friend of a friend of a friend, and then one day somebody said, well, you should sell this. I'm like, what? I'm like, I work in telecommunications. That's like nothing, absolutely nothing. And then there was like let's try it and decide and just to see how it works. And here we are.
How long's that been? How long's Fitbakes been around?
7 years.
What are the phases then? Because I mean, when we met, you were just about to go into Sainsbury's as on a trial. But what's been the phases? Obviously, there's been a big phase from cake to bread, but
getting to the first store, because we started as a D2C brand, which was the world I knew. I knew tech, I knew IT, I knew how to make a website. And that's kind of how we started in Instagram. That was it. I think the first mark was Selfridges, which is not a massive sales grocer, but it's a flagship store, isn't it? So for us to be on a shelf I think that was the first one. Then I think when we hit 500,000 in revenues, that was significant as well. When we outsourced our production, to be fair as well, because in the very beginning it was in my kitchen. So when we outsourced, that's another one as well. We still have the little things where where people would check in with their thumb, and now the baker is still in the kitchen. And when we hit 7 figures, and the last one was when we turned profitable.
Hey, that's the key one. I do remember your marketing was superb. You were always my example of how to do marketing at early stage.
Thank you. How to do marketing with no money.
Yes, that's what you were very good at. And getting followers and getting collaborators before I think influencers were really quite as big a thing as they are now, and content creators. You were doing that right at the forefront. So what gaps are you filling in the market now? You say that everyone's focused on the breads. So where are they selling?
We sell, well, we obviously still sell D2C in our website. We are very large on Amazon, and we have bread stocked now in Ocado, Holland and Barrett, a lot of independents. And we have some other products, not the bread, but stocked in other retailers. So Tesco, Waitrose, and whatever. So these ones, but those are the bars. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bars are still there.
They're still there. Yeah, no, they're still there. It's just, yeah. I think the bars market is very saturated. So there is a limit for what you can grow. And we kind of stumbled in this healthy bread gold mine. And I think we covered a few things that a lot of things happen because you plan, but a lot of things happen for luck as well. I think you're just there. You happen to be there and ready for that. So Zoe came along and Glucose Goddess came along, and we are there. We are ready. That's what our products are made for. I come from a long line of diabetic people. I'm not yet, but I hope never to be, because I control with diet and exercise and everything. And now we're getting another one, which is with Ozempic and Mounjaro.
Yeah.
Because people have to eat better quality food. So they have to get their protein in, they have to get their fiber in, and they can't eat much because there is no space. You can't manage to. And these people have money because they're paying for the jabs. And also we have a lot of people conscious on getting out when they're getting out of the jabs, when they finish like their cycle of losing the weight. They know they have to keep their blood sugar low. Otherwise you're going to go in the same, cycle again. So that is one of the recommendations, and everybody eats bread. So that's it.
We've been talking a lot about the impact on different brands and different marketplaces. I think it's going to have a real impact. But for you, if you've got a product, like you say, it's nutrition dense, isn't it?
And it tastes good above everything, which you, Karen, thought me. It has to taste good.
Tastes good because people will take medicine, but they're not going to come back time and time again unless they love eating the products. I think the other thing you've got to do, which you've done well, is keep evolving, because otherwise you just get overtaken, because the other challenge is, of course, there's other challenger brands coming along
all the time. And there are trends and there is everything, so the trends will come and go. But if your product is good and it tastes good, and if you do admin well, you make it.
What's your ultimate goal for Fitbakes? What's the vision, the dream?
Oh, so I think in terms of a personal goal, it's more like we want to see people healthier bakes, or healthier bread, and healthier staple foods being a norm. That's what we want to see. And so more people in the space. Other people, oh, you're scared of competitors. No, can we have more people in? So more brands buy us. So this becomes a category and becomes normal. So on a personal level, that's it. I'm a nutritionist, so I want people to eat well. Don't eat yourself sick. So that's the goal. And I think in business, the success is an exit. Yeah, to be very plain clear. Profit is a part of success.
Profit is important, obviously, but yes, I can understand an exit. What's the jobs that you're doing at the moment to get you to that turnover and profit, isn't it, that you need?
Yeah, it's turnover and profit. It's mainly that. But we have jobs, we have very well divided, like we have a very small team in the business. It's mostly a management team because we outsource everything. So we don't have a lot of employees. People saying, I get terrified when I hear brands saying, oh yeah, we have a team of 25. I was like, how much are you turning over? It's like, what? Why? What else do? But so yeah, so we keep our costs low. It's nothing like different. Keep your costs low. So we have sacrificed growth for profitability in the last 2 years. We have aimed for that. For a few reasons. So it has been a very difficult environment to raise money. So if you try to raise money, if you go to raise, people that needed to had difficulty and had to put lower valuations and had to, whatever, we didn't want to have to go there. And the plan was, how do we not have to, what do we do so we don't have to raise? So the whole plan was, let's slow down the growth in revenue, but let's get profitable. And we did. So I'm about to announce the profitability. We just closed the quarter very, very soon. And it's good. It's good. So, and the plan for next year is to keep on this path. So we just sent an investors update, and it's all about profit.
You can't bank anything else, really, can you? And I think it is important to be putting money, and more than anyone, back into branding, because the branding is part of the puzzle. But if you're not making money, then there's no point.
Yeah, but I think the days of let's grow a brand really quickly and let's lose money, those days are gone. You've heard so many stories. Like, our CFO used to be CFO for a very large food brand. It wasn't an independent food brand where he was CFO when he was sold to a big brand. I'm not going to say the name, but it's and he keeps looking at our numbers. He goes like, "How are you making money? You're turning over less than 5 million. Like, how are you making money? We just started making money over there when they were in 20 million. I was like, well, I can't do that, can I? I don't have this amount of money to burn. So no, let's make it." So
what's your average week like then, while you're chasing these numbers and making it profitable? What do you do?
So usually my mornings are more to talk with the team, because our team is all remote. We do have an office, but most people choose to work from home. We have an office like those shared offices. So Lucia works from there, basically, because he's my husband. We cannot work in the same environment. So he goes to the office. I stay here. Everybody's happy. So that's the only reason we have an office. In afternoons, I do more alone work. So, everything that I have to do by myself. Then we have 2 calls a week, Lucian and I, formal calls, or sometimes we do it here in the kitchen table before he leaves to the office, but it's formal meetings. What we have to go through, and we are not allowed to talk about work outside that. Otherwise, we are going to be talking about the supplier that didn't deliver the pallet for whatever. So we don't do that. We talk during the time. That's the end of that. Done. And if you didn't talk, wait for next Tuesday. Otherwise, can't talk about it.
And can you actually do that? Does that? Yeah, it's always interesting to talk to couples that run businesses.
Yeah, we do. We do that. Put in the diary. What do you do? I go, he goes, whatever. Are you done? Are you done? Okay, thank you. That's it. Obviously, if it's an emergency, we'll talk. But don't get out of the routine. This is the procedure.
Really good discipline. Real example of how to do things.
It is. It is. It took a while to get here. I have one day that I take, like Wednesdays is usually my finance and stock control. It's a lot of bureaucracy day. So it's a lot of bookkeeping, like a lot of numbers and spreadsheets. So that's my Wednesday. If I can't do it on a Wednesday, I'll do it on a Thursday, but usually that's the way. But then I try to do by themes, to keep it like that.
Okay. So you actually split your week by Wednesday's bookkeeping, Monday planning, Tuesday marketing. Do you really do it like that?
I try to do that. I have my calendar, and everything that I have to do is in the calendar. But I mean, everything, like wash clothes is there. Otherwise, I will forget. If it's not on my calendar, it's not going to be done. So everything is there, and it has a time blocked for it. I don't have to respect the time. It can be anything between exactly, but I can switch things. But there is only the amount of stuff that I can do. If it's not there, I'm not going to do it. And if it doesn't fit in the calendar, it's not going to be done, because I don't have any time. So it's very boring procedure.
That's a very structured approach, isn't it? And when you get to the end of the week, how do you review? How do you know you've had a good week or a bad week?
So everything that I do, when it's done, I delete it. So it's gone. So my day in the end of the day has to be empty. Nothing is there. And in the end of the week, it has to be empty. Nothing. It can be transferred, of course. And if I don't manage to do something today, I'm going to put it, but I'm not going to put it for tomorrow. I'm going to put it when I think I will actually do it. Otherwise, it won't fit. So there are things that I transferred yesterday for next Wednesday, for example. Like, I didn't do it today, or put it over there. But in the end of the week, the calendar has to be all empty. Otherwise, I'm not going to get up from the desk. So.
And what are you using? You say you delete it.
Just Outlook.
No other special.
I tried other things. I didn't like it. I think I'm just used to it. This boring moment was brought to you by a very boring corporate life.
I think you're actually making a really good point about passion, because It's a little bit like a relationship, isn't it? The passion at the beginning of a relationship will only last so long, and then you've got to do the hard work. It's the same with a food business, with any startup business. There will be days when you just go, I don't want to do this. And that's when you've actually got to have a system in place that says, well, you might not want to do it, but today, if I don't do these things, this won't happen, and therefore it won't move forward.
Exactly. My favorite part of the business is MPD. I like to go there and try to do stuff. And also I like some other very technical things. I like the Amazon algorithm, the mysteries of it. I like the marketing part of it, the digital marketing part of it. I like that. But how do you make sure that that's actually working? You have to measure it. And then you go again, you go to stats, you go to all the data, you go to everything. So, I mean, the passion thing, like I said, it drives you to start. I gave an example the other day. Somebody asked me about, why so many food business go broke, why so many of them fail. I think food business has a characteristic because food is sentimental, is a passion. And people love food and people want to eat food and it's a pleasure and it's all that. And when somebody launches something, the thing you hear the most, and I'm sure you hear that all the time, I mean, like, oh, my grandmother had a great recipe for lemon cake. I'm going to launch and sell it. Okay, well, did you check if there is a gap in the market? Did you check if there is a demand for lemon cake? How much does it cost a lemon cake? What's the price of the lemon cake? What's the margin of the lemon cake? How are you going to distribute? What's the logistics? What's the supply chain? Like, okay, the passion is great, but that's not going to sell. So let's do the hard work to sell and use that passion to drive the sale. So I think it's basically that.
You're right. And I mean, I've been working with somebody recently who has got a great idea and has researched it and developed the products. And then he couldn't find someone to make it. And that's another problem, because unless you're going to make it in your kitchen, which isn't going to be able to scale, or you want to start a factory. And the other difficulty in it is the mindset to run a factory is very different to the entrepreneurial mind.
Oh my God, we consider at some point, and I'm like, I can't do that. I don't have the competence. That's way above my pay grade. Like, I cannot do that for sure. Jeez, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to learn that. I want to do other stuff. I want to go do what I'm good at, not what I'm, let's hire somebody that's good at that. I'm not good at that. So yeah, we couldn't find a manufacturer in the beginning. Don't you remember? Nobody wanted to make it. Yeah, they said, well, it's too weird. Nobody's going to eat stuff with these ingredients.
Are you outsourcing everything now?
Mm-hmm. Different manufacturers, not only one, but still, yeah, it depends on the product. Yeah.
And that gives you the flexibility. I remember reading Innocent's book. They kept the sourcing of the fruit because that was the important piece, but the manufacturing they outsourced because they wanted different technologies, whether they wanted a tetra or a bottle or a pouch. Then why invest in one of these big pieces of kit when you get somebody else to do it for you? So,
and again, if that's not your expertise, why would you think you're going to be good at that? I mean, running a factory, for example, manufacturing is so about the tiny margins, isn't it? The waste, the this, the that. It's like it took me 30 years to get to where I know, to get here where I am, about marketing, about digital, about finance, because I've worked with this for 30 years. 30 years, Jesus, 30 years now. But how long is it going to take for me to be good at manufacturing something? I'm not going to be efficient in the first year for sure.
I think you'd be good at it because of the fact that you are measuring a lot of metrics. Because for me, production is getting up and doing the same thing every day well, and then doing it better. But, I do like to do things differently every day, but you can't do that because the customer expects the same bread, the same bar when they open the packet as I bought last week, not because you've added a few extra sprinkles because it's not pretty. It just doesn't work.
No. And if it comes a little bit thinner because it was the end of the batch, complaints. It's like, I'm really sorry.
Do you monitor complaints?
Yes. Actually, I monitor it personally. I have the ones on Amazon, it's easy to just get a report, but on the website, we do. Well, supermarkets, we don't get many, but when you do, you receive emails. Then it can be anything. Some people just, I don't like it. When the weather changes very quickly, the flow wrap sometimes in the end of the pack, it opens because of if it gets cold really fast, like from one day to the other, it gets really cold. Sometimes we have had so when you get one, you can expect to get 3 or 4 on the same day. So it's we just, we monitor that. And in the website, we have the weirdest but most effective escalation procedure, which is, so our social media team answers to it normally. So social media and emails and website, all that, they answer normally. Somebody makes any complaint, they pass it to me once a week. If there is because I have a meeting with them once a week, so they pass it to me. Anything, it can be anything light or anything more serious. It's food. It will happen. Not many, but it will. If somebody is really, you get people really, really worked up, like they want to call, they are complaining, they're this, they're that. If it goes above everybody and nobody can is able to calm down or to give an answer to that person anymore, we have a secret weapon, which is called Lucian. Lucian will call you personally and have a chat. And he manages to calm down everybody because he's so nice. And also the fact that you're talking to the founder. People are like, can't believe you're calling me. It's like, he loves it. He loves talking to customers. And he always comes back, like, you have no idea how much you learn about that. So I'll say he'll give, it doesn't happen often, but 2 or 3 times a month, you will get to him. Of course. He's like, oh yeah, let me talk to her. What's the story? Like,
that's brilliant. That's a great selling point that, you like you say, the founder's going to call if you're really fed up.
And the truth is that most of the time, it's just noise that wasn't communicated well at some point. So the person got frustrated with something and they just need to speak. So I put the best speaker I know in the world. So there you go.
I think more people should do that. It's kind of back to the floor, isn't it? Would you remember those show? They would go back to the floor and actually experience things firsthand. And it does inform you. You do keep your finger on what people think.
It completely does. It completely does. I mean, you're listening to things that you didn't even realize were happening, and it's just, I mean, and we hear the best stories as well. Like sometimes, it's just customers that call just to tell good stories. Some people just like to talk on the phone, so they want to talk. Can I talk with somebody? So there was this woman, she was very annoyed and whatever, and then we sent her parcel. Basically, she lived in a place that was very remote in the Highlands. So every time we sent her something, it would take like a couple of weeks to get there, and she got frustrated, and then we couldn't track it, and then Royal Mail, whatever. Anyway, so there was this. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just anyway. So we changed the courier, and so we'll send it again. I mean, I wasn't charging her. At some point, I was like, just send her something. Just send her like three orders. I don't care. Just send anyway. But she was still frustrated, and she was very polite, but so frustrated. We didn't manage to sort it out with any courier. End of the day, I said, can we send it again and talk to through Royal Mail, but send a special delivery? Because ours is already tracked, but we sent it one above, a special delivery something. I said, let's try it again, but let's just change it. Our Royal Mail manager recommended that, so just send it here. So basically, he got there on a Friday, right, afternoon. He got there. She wasn't home. That product was supposed to be refrigerated. And the tag said at the top, refrigerated upon arrival. Now, okay, I think this is going to be a nightmare. Best thing happened. The postie took home because he knew her, kept in his fridge, and delivered back on a Monday.
Wow, that's personal, isn't it? That's what we're all missing in life.
Exactly. That's the flaw, guys. So that was it. Yeah. So when you talk to customers, these things happen. And she called us to tell the story. Like I got it.
And she will recommend you to 20 people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You will, and the postman as well. What a beautiful, beautiful story. So let's think about going forward then. The next 12 months, what's the things you're working on?
We have a couple of NPDs on the pipeline. One in the supplement category, because we already launched our apple cider vinegar gummies last year. It was a hit because it's sugar-free. So again, low carb and everything, we keep with that. And it's the intent of keeping the blood sugar low and blood sugar maintenance, which is the whole spirit of the brand. And we have 2 more items in the bread category.
Fantastic. Where do you need to get to for that sale of the business? Because you say you mentioned a 5 million turnover at the moment.
Yeah, there are few thresholds that are suggested. So people suggest 7, 17, or 70. I've heard that a few times. That's not a rule, but obviously, if the company is profitable, we can go a bit lower. If the company is more D2C, we have a very good index, which is our repeat purchase is very high, very high. So we are above 50% online in repeat, Amazon and website. On supermarkets, it was almost on 30. So it's incredibly high. So that apparently is a big value as well. So we work in our minds with the 7 million target. That's where we work with, but that moves. That has moved a few times. So depends on what.
So that's not far away then, is it?
Well, hold on. Growing from 1 to 3 that's one thing. Now going from there, we are finding it's a different ballgame, especially if you want to keep profitable. That's the difference. We want to keep profitable. I mean, if you can grow like, I could, like the price of chocolate went up, for example, significantly. Everybody knows in the last 2 years. And we doubled the price of our crunch bars and we lost 60,000 units of sales per month because of the price. I could be selling those again if I lower the price and sell, sell for cost or below cost. I could. I'm not going to do that, but it has to have the profit in.
For the bars, did that mean you couldn't go into meal deal anymore?
We got out of the meal deals. We got out of all of it. We pulled listings. We pulled Morrison's.
Right.
Yeah. It was just like, let's get out. Yeah. We pulled Tesco as well for the meal deal. It's not worth it. It doesn't hold it. It's a chocolate bar. I mean, it's not a chocolate bar, but there is a lot of chocolate in that bar.
Yeah.
So you can't, and people kept saying, oh, you can reformulate it. Oh, you can't, because then it's not going to taste as good. And the whole point of it is because it's made with real chocolate. Yeah, I'm not going to put syrup on it or something. So it's So we pulled non-profitable listings. We're not going to sacrifice profit for revenue.
I think that's real wisdom. There's no point being a busy fool. And I think so many people chase the listings, chase the volume. But if there isn't enough margin in it, then what's the point? Because actually, who's benefiting? The customer is benefiting, but also the retailer will benefit. And you're just printing money for other people rather than yourself.
Exactly. And that's how so many food brands go down, isn't it? Because we see, I mean, we've done it. I mean, we've done it. You look, oh my God, I'm going to get a listing in Waitrose. We had 6 SKUs at Waitrose at some point in different aisles. It's like different sizes and stuff. And it's like, well, how much are we actually making from this? I mean, and then the promotions and then the this, the that, it doesn't make any sense. I think it used to make sense when growth was the only metric. If you've identified your niche and you know your customer and that's something you've always been really good at, then it's perfect. What gets in your way? What's the challenges? Because you've always been really positive. You've always done good marketing, had financial common sense, but what trips you up? What's tripped you up? On a personal level, menopause tripped me up. Big time. Oh my God. 7 years, Kim. 7 years. Like, being 7 years. 7 years on premenopause and it doesn't go away and I hate it. So yeah, that tripped me up big time. And it's exactly when I founded the company. Way. But anyway, so yeah, so that gets in a way in every single aspect of the world, isn't it? It's just like you can't sleep, you can't rest, you can anything. Like you get moody, you get this. But anyway, so all resources have been used, exercise, diet, everything. Mm-hmm. But I think besides that, I don't know. I mean, I think I learn a lot with, sometimes I still find the fact that I'm not British. Sometimes it makes me not understand a few things. And I'm still learning some stuff, right. And I have to get Lucian to shake me and say, that is just a British thing, or like, okay, if you're a foreigner, even though you lived here forever, it will get in your way at some point. It can help as well. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it can help. What shall we finish up with? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you read books? Yeah, mostly podcasts. I mean, I used to read so much, and I'm gonna try to get myself into it. But I I think my eyesight keeps changing. I booked an appointment the other day because I just get sleepy if I read. So I'm doing audiobooks or podcasts. So that works for me better. Any in particular? Any you would recommend? Anything from The Economist. They have a few different lines, and they're short, from here to the gym, whatever. I can get the whole thing, and it's very enriching ones. The other one that I like is the Harvard Business Review. I think it's called Idea Cast. And there was one that I used to listen a lot. I stopped now for a bit, but I want to go back. I used to love it. Is the How I Built This, which is entrepreneurial. So that's fun. But it's mostly Americans, the stories, but still they're cool. You have a lot of food stories there.
It's always inspiring, isn't it? So at the end of our podcast, we like to do some quick fire questions. Perfect or done?
Done.
I think most people are done these days. Although I would have had you down as a slight perfectionist, actually. So
but definitely not. I will launch a product which is like with the packaging, with something not wrong, but something that I know I can. I've always done so many times.
Just get
so
it.
many times, especially in products. Every done, always done.
So work early or work late?
Late.
Mm-hmm. Specialist or generalist?
Generalist. I'm the masters of everything. I know nothing.
Mary Berry or Prue Leith?
I think Prue. I met her because she's in Gloucestershire. So yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And my last one, which I know the answer to, is growth, profit or cash?
Profit.
Profit.
Profit, definitely.
That's been the theme of this conversation, really, hasn't it? And it makes a lot of sense. Make money and make profit, because otherwise you're just a busy fool. And you are clearly not a busy fool. Busy, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. Where can people find Fitbakes?
Amazon or our website, fitbakes.co.uk, and Ocado, Holland & Barrett. You can find our full lines in all of those and other independent stores.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Ella for her time and openness. The links are all in the show notes. Make sure to subscribe to the Friday Accelerator to get your regular dose of ideas and inspiration for growth, resilience, and success. Search for the Friday Accelerator wherever you get your podcasts, or go to podcast.fridayaccelerator.com. If you want to help the podcast grow and bring you more guests, leave us a like and a review. It really helps. And if you know someone who'd find the ideas in the podcast useful, please forward it on. It's always good to share. Thanks. See you in the next episode.